Hello, viewer. Thank you very much for staying tuned to Unity TV. Today is Tuesday, 31st October 2023, equivalent to the 17th of Rabiul Thani 1445 after Hijrah, and these are the headlines. Federal government approves 2.1 trillion as 2023 supplementary budget. Rivers Assembly in crisis as Wike's loyalists move to impeach Fubara. Autonomy Oyo, Edo, Kano, Ogun, Ondo assembly workers begin indefinite strike on the foreign scene. Ceasefire between Israel and Hamas will not happen, says Netanyahu. And to come your way in sports, Messi wins record extending 8th Ballon d'Or award. Those were the headlines, and for the details and other stories, my name is Shuaibu Doro. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved a 2023 supplementary budget of 2.1 trillion. While speaking after the FEC meeting on Monday in Abuja, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, said the budget is to fund urgent issues. According to him, there will be allocations to maintain previous progress on national security and agriculture. The budget will also cover 4 months of wage awards for federal government workers and student loan funds. Bagudu equally added that the sum of 210 billion naira is provided for the payment of wage awards in negotiation with the Nigeria Labour Congress. According to him, out of the amount for the supplementary budget, the federal government approved 18 billion naira for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) for the conduct of the Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi State off-cycle elections next month. Moves by 24 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara resulted in turbulence in the state on Monday as the governor's loyalists stormed the assembly complex in protest against the plot. This came after the bombing of the State House of Assembly located along Moscow Road in Port Harcourt by suspected arsonists on Sunday. A section of the chamber was damaged and some properties were destroyed. It was gathered that Sunday's explosion at the assembly was to prevent the lawmakers from carrying out their planned impeachment, but the men of the fire service successfully put out the fire. Still, the lawmakers, who were believed to be loyal to the immediate past governor of Rivers State, and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, had signed an impeachment notice against the embattled governor early morning on Monday. Led by the Speaker, Martin Amahule, the lawmakers also removed the House Leader, Edison Ehie, who was strongly opposed to the impeachment of the governor, and suspended 3 other members said to be loyal to Fubara. Shortly after they left the complex, the governor, accompanied by 3 Department of State Services operatives and supporters, arrived at the assembly, where a viral video showed policemen firing gunshots, tear gas canisters and water cannons at the governor and scores of his supporters as they walked to the State Assembly complex to assess the damage caused by the Sunday night arson attack. However, Fubara secured a temporary reprieve as he was able to swing some lawmakers to his side after having an emergency meeting with them at the government house. Following this sudden turn of events, the pro-Fubara House members announced the suspension of 8 of their colleagues and the impeachment of Speaker Maya Huli. Edison Ehie, who was earlier suspended as the leader of the House by the anti-Fubara lawmakers, was elected the factional speaker after the sitting held in the government house. And away from that to some other political matters, the presidency and the All Progressives Congress on Monday knocked the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar following his allegations that the Supreme Court rewarded illegalities by upholding the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the February 25 presidential poll. Atiku, who addressed a press conference in Abuja on Monday, formally reacted to last week's judgment of the Apex Court, which dismissed his lawsuit to challenge Tinubu's electoral victory. Atiku called for constitutional amendments to allow, among others, for a 6-year single term for the presidency. a rotational presidency among the 6 zones of the country and to ensure the completion of the litigation on elections before the inauguration of the winner. But in its reaction to Atiku's attack on the president and the apex call, the presidency took a sharp jab at the former vice president, saying he went into the February 25 poll with a fragmented and tattered umbrella. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, stated this in a statement titled "Time for Atiku Abubakar to finally go away and end his ambition to become president." Following the expiration of the ultimatum given to the federal government by the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria (PASAN) for the implementation of financial autonomy in legislative houses in the country, PASAN staff in Oyo, Edo, Kano, Ondo, and Ogun State yesterday commenced an indefinite strike and consequently shut gates leading into the Houses of Assembly. The assembly workers in the states, who displayed placards with various inscriptions to drive home their demands, blocked the entrance of the houses. The industrial action of the legislative staff was as a result of the expiration of the ultimatum of the national body of PASAN, as well as the peculiar agitations of the state chapter of the union. The workers, who were led by their various state chairmen, Mr. Yemi Alade Umaru Haruna, Bashir Yahya, and Ojederan Oyotunde, Ayotunde of Oyo, Edo, Kano, and Ogun states respectively, are seeking the implementation of financial autonomy for state legislatures, calling on their governors to comply with the Section 121, subsection 3A, 3B, and 4A of the 1999 Constitution as amended. These men report that the national president of PASAN, Mr. Muhammad Usman, had directed all chairmen and secretaries to mobilize her members for maximum compliance in the protest action yesterday. And moving on to some other matters, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, on Saturday raised alarm that child trafficking and sexual exploitation is on the rise in Plateau State and blamed broken homes as the major cause. As such, the agency urged parents to avoid breaking away, solve their differences amicably, and collectively look after their children to protect them from traffickers. Our correspondent, Jamilu Abdullahi Mezadu, has the deed.
Broken home is one of the major causes of child trafficking and sexual exploitation. As such, there is a need for spouses to always find amicable ways of settling their issues than breaking away. Advising spouses at a one-day couple counseling session themed Flaming Forward Marriage Classic organized by Mending Homes Foundations in Jos on Saturday, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Plateau State Commander Alexander Adole Agada raised an alarm that child trafficking and exploitation is on the rise in Plateau State.
There is a very serious relationship between child trafficking and mending home issues. Because when a child is not properly brought up, that child will be displaced and she'll be vulnerable and she will be prone to trafficking. So because so many of these trafficked children we have that comes to our office, when we interview them, they will tell you that their mother and their father are not together.
Earlier, the founder of Mending Homes Foundation, Mrs. Margaret O. Anthony Oji, said the program is aimed at helping couples reform their relationships.
Now, Mending Home is here to inform on a renewed relationship. There is hope. You know, the Bible says there is hope for a tree. If cut down, that it will sprout again. So no matter the situation that every marriage is going through, you know, if you are determined within yourself to have a change of relationship, everything is possible. So I'm believing God at the end of this program, every marriages that are represented here will have a renewed relationship within themselves. The couples will have, you know, a renewed lifestyle within.
Highlighting finance, sex, infidelity, family and peer group pressures as causes of couples' problems, the chairman, Mending Homes Foundation, gave advices on better means of solving them.
Husband, take care of your wife. Where there are issues, come together, iron it out, because communication is key in a home. When you are not saying anything, nothing can be resolved. Don't assume I know, and don't assume I will not assume you know. Provide for your family, because the pressure at home is always the issue of provision, where the children need school fees. I know most times these things they are not available, but if you plan your finances, your economy, let me put it that way, you can at least attend to some issues before you now go to call somebody for assistance.
In their separate speeches, the state coordinator of the foundation, Mrs. Joy Ayo Asukuk, guest speakers at the event, Dr. Anna Gyang Batium, legal practitioner Frederick C. Obagu, and Mrs. Nancy Jumai from Public Complaint Service Commission Plateau State Chapter, as well as the representative of Human Rights Commission, all called on spouses to respect, tolerate, help, treat each other fairly, mind their health, avoid violence, and report to the necessary institution when in need. Participants who were visibly happy hoped the session halls often renewed their vow to strengthen their relationship and commended Mending Homes Foundation for holding the event in Jos. From Jos, Jamilu Abdullah Mazadu reporting for Unity FM and TV.
And that story takes us to Abia State, where no fewer than 50 decomposing and 20 headless bodies have been uncovered around Lokbanta Regional Cattle Market in Omoni-Ochi local government area of Abia State. Governor Alex Oti made the revelation during a media parley in Umuahia on Sunday night. He expressed regret that the vicinity of the market had become a den of criminals. He vowed that there was no going back on the decision of the state government to eject all residents out of the market. The Abia governor said it would become a day market that closes in the evening and everybody goes home. Governor Oti noted that the ongoing campaign against insecurity in the Omoni-Ochi and Isukwato axis was beginning to yield fruit. He vowed that no inch of Abia State, including where the bodies were found, would be allowed to serve as a breeding ground for criminals. Furthermore, he said anybody still opposed to the government's efforts to sanitize the cattle market must be a criminal or an accomplice. And on a similar note, gunmen suspected to be Boko Haram terrorists yesterday invaded Beneshek town, the headquarters of Kaga local government area of Borno State, and killed the chief imam, Sheikh Baba Goni Mukhtar Malumti. They also set ablaze some Islamic books belonging to the deceased. The deceased was a renowned Islamic scholar and chief imam of Jumaat Mosque, Beneshek. This came as another group of terrorists invaded Makinta Kururi village of Beneshek and abducted 2 hunters in separate renewed attacks. Recall that last month, the younger brother of the chief imam was also killed by insurgents. Beneshek, located along the major Kano Damaturu-Maiduguri highway, is about 70 kilometers drive to Maiduguri. Confirming the incident, the caretaker chairman of Kaga Council area, Mustafa Balma, expressed shock over the renewed attacks by terrorists. And that tragic story takes us to the foreign scene, where Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Monday that a ceasefire in the Gaza war will not happen, as it would be to surrender to Hamas. Netanyahu also told a press conference that other countries must give more help in the struggle to free more than 230 hostages seized by Hamas in its October 7 attacks. He said the international community must demand the captives be freed immediately and unconditionally. Vowing that Israel would fight until this battle is won, Netanyahu said the army was going out of its way to prevent civilian casualties in Gaza. The health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza says at least 8,306 people, mostly civilians, have been killed in Israeli air and artillery strikes since the war erupted on October 7, after Hamas's deadly attack on southern Israel killed 1,400 people, mostly civilians. We'll now look at some sports stories. Argentine superstar Lionel Messi has won the 2023 Ballon d'Or, making it a record-extending award for the 2022 World Cup winner. The Inter Miami star was named the winner of the prestigious prize on Monday night in the French city of Paris, in what many see as a fitting reward for leading the Abyssal to a World Cup triumph late last year. Messi, 36, succeeds Karim Benzema as the winner of the prize awarded for his performances last season when he inspired Argentina to glory at the World Cup. It was his displays in Qatar when Messi dragged his country to a victory that crowned his remarkable career that allowed Messi to see off stiff competition from Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland in particular. Haaland came second in the final voting, with Mbappe third and Kevin De Bruyne in fourth place. Congratulations to Lionel Messi, and that story brings us to the end of the news. On behalf of the entire production crew, my name is Shoaib Uftaro. Thank you for watching Unity TV.